So grateful to share a few words about Manu and his incredible transformational work. Met him through a Facebook group, December of 2020, the Dr. Joe group. Enjoyed the Coherence Healing that we did. It reminded me of being at the retreat in Mexico. Sent it to my mother saying, you should try the Coherence Healing. Mistakenly, because she's not so great with tech, did the one-on-one free coaching with Manu. She said, Barbara, you gotta do a one-on-one coaching with Manu. He's amazing. And I said, no, I know he's amazing. I don't need his one-on-one coaching. I'm great just in the group setting. I have to give credit to my mom. On a whim, because she kept bugging me, you gotta try. I went and just did a one-on-one session with him, which turned into multiple. I was in a tricky place in my life trying to figure out, do I move back to LA? What am I doing for work? My dad had just found out that he was diagnosed with AML leukemia. And I always love to tell the story, telling him that my parents had not been in the same room in 25 years. And he said, wow, I've been thinking of doing a healing for families. And since you work in the area of forgiveness, maybe you could help me start it. But what if they say no? And all my doubts came up. He said, all you have to do is send the Coherence Healing for the Family Healing invitation, just the invitation by text or email or phone call in person to each of the people in your family. And I said, I can do that. They all put it on their calendar. My mom said, fine, I'll do it. My dad said, fine, I'd be happy to do it. And I said, don't worry, Dad, I'll come over and I'll do it with you because he's hard of hearing. And in case there's something that comes up that you can't hear, I'll be right next to you holding your hand. My stepmom was a little bit like, why do you even need me? She was in the next room. She heard everything that was going on. My mom's in her apartment many miles away. My sister's in her house many miles away. But we all were there in time and space. When the Coherence Healing was over, my stepmother came up to me and said, it is kind of ridiculous that we have never had a family holiday together in the same place. You should invite your mother once in a while. So I was stunned. I didn't say anything to my mom. The next day, my mom calls me and says, if your father and your stepmother wanted to come over, maybe I could make a dinner for them. I said, are you serious? Because my stepmom just said pretty much the same thing. So 2 days later, I picked up my mother, and my mother, my dad, my stepmom, and myself had dinner together for Shabbat. And Shabbat is also very healing, so that was amazing. And then 2 weeks after that, I hosted the very first Thanksgiving dinner for my entire family, including my sister and her husband and their kids. It was life-changing and really life-affirming. And I give all the credit to that coherence session because I know that something happened that was beyond space and time. I sprained my toe. I have a funny story about that. I was helping my niece move a bed, and the second I put my hands onto the bed, a piece of very heavy wood fell on my tiny toe on my left side. And I was in excruciating pain, and I knew that if I went in to my inner guidance and just kind of sat with all the bone structure and the muscles and the veins, eventually it would heal itself. However, of course I called Manu and got on the very next Coherence Healing. It happened to be Christmas weekend, and I had to schedule my x-ray for 2 days later because they just weren't open. And when I went in to the radiologist, I said to him, podiatrist, who I already texted the photos to, says it's for sure a sprain. There's probably a few broken bones. And he said, well, we'll see. And I said, but I did do 2 Coherence Healings in the last 24 hours, so chances are it's not as bad as he says. He came to me with the slides and he said, this is a miracle. Your foot looks like it's broken or sprained on the outside. You have a perfect internal system. And I started to cry out of gratefulness. And then I said, by the way, I'd like to pray for you because you were so kind to me. Could you just tell me what your name is? And he said, my name is Manu. Then I had to tell him all about the Coherence Healing. And of course I sent him the link. I did this Coherence Healing when I got COVID. So far I've only had it 2 times, thank God. I was very scared the first time I had it. I was living all by myself. I had to take care of myself alone. There was no one there. People brought me food, but I couldn't hug anyone or see anyone, and that was very painful for me. And this Coherence Healing was my hug. I found out in the middle of 2020 that my lower back had lost the lowest disc just randomly it was gone, and I was in excruciating pain. I didn't know why. First doctor I saw, unfortunately, said, you will be on painkillers for the rest of your life. And I said, oh, I don't think you know me. I made a documentary about addiction and I am not interested. I've never done a drug and I'm not interested in starting. But healing every morning, a meditation, and I pray about it all the time. And thank God I live without pain. Thank God, thank God. And I've done it for my business. In general, I love giving to this community. I love receiving from this community. And I'm sorry that I can't be there for this celebration, but I just want to say thank you to everyone. Namaste. God bless you. And may we all see the entire world in coherence immediately. And let us say amen.